Hi everyone, just wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about how to construct an angle bisector, where your angle is one of the angles of a triangle. So it is the same steps that you would use to construct any sort of angle bisector. However, I think sometimes it gets a little bit confusing and hard to figure out which angle you're working with when you're dealing with a triangle. I'm also going to do this one on Desmos as opposed to on Delta Math, because for our purposes, we are ultimately going to work to create all three. I'm only going to do one, but you can repeat the steps for the other angles and see what happens. All right, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to start off with making your polygon. We're just going to make any old triangle. You don't want to make it too small, because if you make it too small, it's sometimes a little bit hard to work with. And obviously, if you make it too large, it'll be a pain. Now, the way that the compass tool works in Desmos is you need a segment. So I'm just going to put a segment up in the top corner over here, and I can kind of, adjust as needed. But that's just a segment of any sort of length. This technique will not work unless your compass is ultimately going to have a radius larger than half of the distance. So you might need to, make this bigger or smaller depending on how big your triangle is. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose go to the more tools and click compass. And as I said, it requires a segment as a radius. So that's my segment, and bam, I get my circle. All right. So you'll see what I mean, right? If this, obviously, it's a little too big for me to work with this one. So you might need to use a slightly smaller segment for this one. This one is also a little on the big side, but this one's not bad, right? You can see where it crosses both. And once you have created that, just because you're still on the compass tool, hit it again and you'll automatically get a circle. So you're going to look for where your original circle intersected your two sides of your triangle, right? So it intersected here, and then we're going to do it again, and it intersected here. Now, when you do this, you should notice that up here, we have a point of intersection on my two circles that were created using my compass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a ray from that vertex right there to this point, and that should be my angle bisector. And you can check by using the little angle tool. This one is 18. This one's 18. See, they're both the same. This one should be 18. It might end up being 35. Oh, 36. Okay, so see, it's perfect. Sometimes with rounding, it does end up a little bit off. But you should notice, right, no matter what I'm doing here, moving this, they're still the same. Right, they're still half. You do need to be careful if you don't use the compass tools. I have found that it doesn't. Oh, see, like here's an example where the rounding makes it look slightly off. I have found that if you don't use the compass tool, this does not necessarily work if I move it. The other thing that you need to consider is, let's say I go like this and make it really huge. Oh, it's not working. Sorry. It is possible as well, maybe not so much on this one. Okay, there we go. I made it so wide that there's no point of intersection anymore, right? So it is possible to do that. And if that happens, I just make my arc slightly smaller, it's fine. All right, so you can use this and move this around to help you. Okay, my other recommendation to you is, obviously when you go on to make more of these, hide the stuff you don't need, right? You don't need all these circles anymore, just hide them. You also don't have to measure the angles. That was just to show a point. All right, and then you can repeat the steps. All right, you might need this a little longer with the other angles. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.